Hello.
Hello. We are, this is going to be the first video of our new channel. We usually do books. We're known as the Bookish Bryants, and we have a channel over on the Bookish Bryants YouTube. But this is going to be completely different. This is going to be all about horror movies, horror books, horror magazines, whatever we can come up with. And it's known as the Streamcast Horror Review. We thought about calling it Screamcast, but I'm sure somebody's done that. So, no, we're not going to do that.
Oh no, I kind of like Screamcast.
But we're going to come on at least once a week. Most of the time with a movie review, sometimes with a book review. But we read everything. And, well, I read everything. She reads a lot of things. Right?
Yes, he's not wrong.
Yeah. And so we're not always going to be reading horror. But we are going to always be watching horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to come on here at least once a week with a horror movie review. Sometimes it'll be a comparison of like a new movie against the remake. Like we really want to do that with Firestarter. We have a guest who's wanting to come on to do that with us, and so this is going to be a lot of fun.
We could do that with Poltergeist, but that would mean I'd have to watch the second Poltergeist again.
Ugh. Well, not Poltergeist 2. We're talking about the remake.
Yeah, the remake of the. God, that was awful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The remake was horrible. So bad.
Oh, it was so painful.
Yeah.
So painful.
And I don't know of anybody who enjoyed it that watched it. I'm sure there's somebody, but I thought it was really, really bad.
I mean, there has to. It lost the spirit of the thing, I think.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have your people that say, I don't watch old movies, that enjoyed the newest one.
I resent the idea of Poltergeist being called an older movie.
Well, it is an older movie, but it's not an old movie.
An old movie, that's fine. That hurts my feel-bads.
It's very modern in comparison to some of the stuff that's going to be on our list today. Today we're going to be doing a top 10 list of our favorite horror films, but we're going to start with 10 honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was not possible to make a list of our 10
No, because there's so much stuff I want to talk about, and that I would feel bad about not having on the list.
And the first video of a YouTube channel deserves a top 10 list, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Because it'll help people to know what we watch. Now, this isn't all of the horror that we like. Don't think just because it's not on our list that it's not something we enjoy, because chances are we probably do.
Yeah, and again, this is our favorite horror movies, not what we consider the very best movies ever made. It's the ones we like to watch.
Yes, and some of these we watch once a year.
Important.
Some of these we watch once a year, or something near that.
Mm-hmm.
But let us what you know. I mean, let us know what you think about the list that we're putting together, and you can email us. We're going to put our email address in the bottom, and I'll start an Instagram account soon for the channel. We have one for the Bookish Bryants, but we don't have one for this yet. This is brand new, so yeah.
And I feel like I should preface my list with I like bad horror movies.
Yeah, she likes bad horror movies, but she don't have a lot of bad horror movies on her list.
I love bad horror movies. I love good horror movies, but I like all horror. Well, almost all horror. I'm not a big, huge fan of the murder porn, but that's just me.
No, you love murder
torture
porn. You don't
not
like
murder
torture porn. Yeah.
Yeah, I like murder porn.
Yeah, murder porn's cool.
Yeah, especially the informative kind.
Yeah, we love what is it?
Is it
Investigation Discovery.
Yeah, that's
ID. We love it. And we love 48 Hours and all that kind of stuff. That's murder porn. We don't like torture. We don't like torture porn.
Yeah, torture porn is the problem.
Well, actually, I don't mind torture porn all that much. I love this. I love the Saw movies, except the first one, which I think is complete garbage. I can't stand the first one.
Can't do it.
But yeah. And if that turned you off, sorry. There's going to be a lot more of that on the channel. Me talking trash about movies, so I hope you enjoy that kind of thing. Even if it's something you like, it doesn't mean it's not going to be fun to talk trash about it.
He's married to someone who loves bad horror movies.
Yeah.
It gets interesting.
There are some bad horror movies I don't hate. You know, Lucio Fulci has a couple that are really terrible that I actually do like. He's got some good ones too, but Yeah. All right. You want to get started on our list?
All right, so we're doing the honorable mentions first,
You
right?
do you do all your honorable mentions, and I'll do all mine, and then we'll go back and forth from 10 to 1.
Okay.
Sound
All
good?
right, yeah. So on my honorable mentions list, and these are just the ones that I could not fit on my top 10, because I love all of these movies. I've got Candyman, which is a classic, I think. Suspiria, again.
Yeah, Dario Argento.
Yeah, Dario Argento,
You-
the
you-
original, not the remake. Although I didn't mind the remake.
Yeah, I thought the remake was actually kind of underrated.
Tilda Swinton's this genius.
Yeah.
The Babadook, which I think is a really, really misunderstood movie.
I think the Babadook was great.
It scared the bejesus out of me.
Because it's got a screaming kid on it. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah. This one I almost didn't put on it because of you, but I'm saying it anyway. The Haunting. And I'm talking about the one
She's not talking about the good one. She's
I'm talking about the one that
shit
everybody
version.
absolutely loves to hate.
The shit version of
the
the
Liam
Haunting.
Neeson one.
Oh my God, it's shit.
It's got the worst actor on the face of the planet, Owen Wilson, in it. But I love that movie. I don't know why.
Shit.
I love it.
Shit.
I love everything
Shit.
about it. Shut.
That's 5 times I've said shit. 6 times about The Haunting.
Well, stop it. No one's asking you. Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Love that movie.
That movie cracks
It
me
ain't
up
great.
so hard.
It ain't great, but it is fun.
It's loads of fun. Pontypool. Don't know why that's not on my top 10.
I don't know why Pontypool is not more well known. Really cool idea for a zombie movie that turned out great.
I love it. I really like
Yeah.
it. 1408. Again, another, I think it's rather
Underrated.
misunderstood. Yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty far underrated. I really enjoyed the Stephen King short story too.
Yeah,
I read
we
it actually
watched that
before
at
I
the
went to see
movies on opening weekend, and
Yeah.
we enjoyed it. Yeah, I still enjoy it.
I loved
I've only
it.
seen it once since. I didn't like it as well the second time, but I still enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Slither.
Yeah.
Again, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's
gory and irreverent and violent and a blast.
I'm noticing I really like a touch of comedy to my horror movies.
Yeah.
I like dark comedy, I guess. Night of the Comet, which old 80s.
Is that 85 or 87? It's somewhere in that area.
It's a zombie, just nut bar of a movie. I love it.
You said old about it, 80s
I know.
horror movie. Like when you said you didn't like that.
It feels older than Poltergeist. I don't know why, but I don't think it is. The Devil's Backbone, which, another one that probably should be on my top 10 list. But
Yeah, The Devil's Backbone is it's a Spanish horror film, right? But it's by a Mexican director. But I believe the movie is Spanish. Am I right? The movie was shot in Spain with a Spanish cast, I do believe.
I want to say it was. I can't remember.
I love it.
Guillermo del Toro is the director, and he's one of my very, very favorites.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro was great.
Yeah, and last one is well, no, not the last one. Cabin in the Woods is, I watch it every year.
After the first time, there was nothing to watch.
I love that movie.
All your surprises are gone in that movie. There's
love it so
there's no
much.
Easter eggs to find. It's just
There's a one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eater in that
it's
movie.
terrible.
It's-
Yeah, but not
You
anywhere
can't go
seeing.
wrong. Yes, there is. There's a unicorn that stabs people through the chest. Come on.
That's all your honorable mentions, right?
Midsummer
Oh, okay.
is the last one.
Yeah, Midsummer's a movie I really like too, but it didn't quite crack my top 10.
Yeah, the only reason that didn't make my top 10 is that I had to move it off to make room for a movie I had forgotten.
Yeah.
Which is I think a better movie. But okay. I love Midsummer. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie, even if it's a stranger than snake suspenders.
Yeah. I had a good time with it too, but I'll talk about that here in a second. I'll go with my honorable mentions now.
Bring it.
We'll start with Rosemary's Baby, the Roman Polanski movie from the late 60s, I do believe. I really like Rosemary's Baby.
Good movie.
It is. It's it's kind of not thought of as well as it was because Roman Polanski is the director. But I mean, I read H.P. Lovecraft too. You know, they're both kind of what you would call problematic. I get it, but I can also appreciate the art while hating the artist or not appreciating the artist. I kind of try to separate myself from, you know, I try to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, it's like enjoying music from a very well-known crazy person.
Yeah, it is.
You can separate the art from the artist. It's easy to do.
Yep, Suspiria is on my list. That almost made my top 10. It was very, very close.
I'm really surprised it didn't.
Yeah. Well, it's because the last couple times I've watched it, I haven't loved it as much as I did the first 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I've seen it a lot. I've seen Suspiria a bunch of times.
I just realized I forgot a really important one.
Which one?
Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Oh, yeah. Tombs of the Blind Dead. What a cool horror movie that is. It's Spanish as well, right? Shot in Spain.
Is it Spanish?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
the dubbing is absolutely atrocious, and I just eat it up.
I actually like to watch the Spanish language.
Have I ever seen it in Spanish?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Spanish. I think it's Spanish. It's been so long since we've seen it. It's hard to remember where it took place. Did it take place in Italy or Spain? I think it's Spain.
Oh no.
Then I've got Zombie, Lucio Fulci's Zombie, which didn't quite crack the top 10, but again, I wanted it there, but I just couldn't do it. I'm a Lucio Fulci fan, not as big a fan as some of these other directors like John Carpenter, but I think, you know, total auteur, you have to be in for his style. If you're not ever going to enjoy one of Lucio Fulci's movies. I mean, he has style to spare, kind of like Dario Argento, who I just talked about.
It was Spain and Portugal.
Okay, Spain and Portugal, yeah, but it was in Spanish.
Uh-huh.
The Haunting from 1963, the good version of The Haunting. It's based on The Haunting of Hill House. It is just great. It's very cool. Again, it's very stylish.
Which is really funny. I wasn't a fan of the book.
Yeah, no.
The Haunting of Hill House. Did not like the book
I
at
still
all.
haven't read the book. It's something I need to remedy. I don't know if I like it or not. I like Shirley Jackson's writing style more than Becky does. So I may enjoy it more than you did.
Like I said, I'm batting 500 on Shirley Jackson. I've liked 2 of the things I read by her, and I dislike 2 of the things I read by her.
Yeah. But yeah, I like her writing style a lot. Everything I read by Shirley Jackson I enjoy so far. But I haven't read The Haunting of Hill House, but I gotta remedy that pretty soon.
Yeah.
The Uninvited from 1944 is a Lewis Allen haunted house movie that I thought was just great. Ray Milland is the main actor. Just what a great movie. Were we going to talk about it some more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I figured, so I'll just leave it there. I know Becky loves that movie, and I like it too
It's
a lot.
one of my very, very favorites.
So we on the honorable mentions we have a lot of overlap. On the top 10, we're not going to have much. My next honorable mention is The Changeling with George C. Scott.
That's an honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention. It's not in my top 10. No. I think I've seen it too much.
Familiarity breeds contempt with you.
Yeah, and,
okay.
and I mean, I love The Changeling. What George C. Scott's haunted house movie, maybe his best. No, I think I actually like the next movie I'm going to talk about more, which is The Exorcist 3.
That's not on your top 10 either?
No, it's not.
Ugh.
I love it, but my top 10 list was pretty well set the way I wanted it. And The Exorcist 3 just didn't quite make it. I love it. And I think the first 2/3 of that movie are absolute genius. But I think it goes off the rails a little bit toward the end.
It does kind of jump the shark at the end. But then the director knew that. So that was a movie house thing.
Yeah. Movie house?
What's the word I'm looking for?
Art house?
No, it's the people who made the movie.
Oh, the studio.
It's a studio thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a studio thing. Then Get Out. I didn't quite.
Get Out.
That almost made my top 10. Very, very close. Love that movie. I saw it twice at the movie theaters. Becky saw it once. but I own it. I don't know what happened to the Blu-ray. It's gone. I have to get another one.
It's here somewhere.
Yeah, it's here somewhere. We'll find it. But love Get Out and Midsummer is my last honorable mention. But none of these are in any order. That's just the way I read them. Midsummer we talked about with Becky. It is disturbing. It is weird. It's long, and I loved every second of it. We went to the movies and saw that with a friend who might actually be on this channel before too long.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we talk about Midsummer.
Yeah, we would love to have her. Talk about some movies with us. I think she wants to talk Poltergeist with us. So maybe we can just do the old one. I don't want to do the new one.
Oh,
it's terrible.
It really is.
But her name's Layla, and we hope Layla gets to come on with us. She's had some some amazing stuff happen in her life, and we wish her the best. But we hope to have her on one day.
That'll be her story to tell.
Maybe as a regular host. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
All right, so we're going to jump face first onto our top 10 list.
Yep, number 10. You start.
Number 10, starting at the bottom, is
one at a time.
Okay, Alien.
Yeah, Ridley Scott made a masterpiece with this movie.
Yes, indeed. The first one, I loved Alien.
It's timeless. It still looks wonderful. It looks awesome on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm. I actually rather consistently like most of the Alien movies after Alien. But like I said, I like bad horror movies.
We didn't care for Aliens that much, though. I mean, the second one, the James Cameron directed one, I don't like James Cameron. I like a couple of things he's done, and that's it. And a lot of people like Aliens more than Alien, and I totally disagree.
Oh, see,
we'll be talking about it more.
I like Alien more than Aliens, immeasurably more. But yeah, after the first one, which I think is just a genius film,
the others are okay.
I like them. They're good.
Yeah. All right, so I'll go with number 10. My number 10 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, 1973, I believe. Something like that. I didn't write it down like I should have. But I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. People talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre like it's a gore fest. And that's the way most people will remember it after they watch it. It has no gore. It is completely devoid of gore. It's got a little blood. Actually quite a bit of blood, but no gore to speak of at all.
The gore's implied.
Yeah. And it's got what I think is maybe the most frightening scene in a horror movie in the history of horror movies. When Leatherface grabs the woman and pulls her into his meat room. Wow. If you've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, watch it for that scene.
It's horribly shocking.
Yeah, it is.
You hadn't seen him up to that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden, this massive, monstrous person comes flying out and picks this full-grown woman struggling up and carries her into the... Oh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's horrifying. It's a great scene. It's one of the great horror scenes. Don't you think?
It's pretty darn scary, yeah.
Yeah. All right, your turn for number 9.
Number 9 is Evil Dead 2. I think I mentioned earlier. I like a little comedy in my movies. That movie cracks me up so bad, even while it's creepy.
I missed Evil Dead 2 on my honorable mentions. It should have been there. I just didn't write it down.
That's one of those movies I actually enjoyed the remake a whole lot. I didn't enjoy it as much as the original.
Oh, Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we did enjoy it. I thought the remake was good.
The remake scared the crap out of me. But there's nothing quite like Evil Dead 2. The scene in the woods with the Barbie doll.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bark like a seal every time I watch that scene. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so well done. Sam Raimi's best movie, in my opinion, by far. Sam Raimi's best movie. Loved it. I liked Evil Dead, but I'm not a fan of Army of Darkness. I know Becky loves it, and it's got a cult following.
It's a full-on comedy.
I hate it
with elements of horror.
Yeah, my number 9 is A Tale of Two Sisters. It's a Korean film. I I can't remember the director. I should have wrote all this down, but I've got this little bitty notebook here, and it's hard to write everything down. But Tale of Two Sisters is one of my favorite horror films. I've seen it twice. Becky needs to watch it with me. She hasn't seen it yet, but man, it is effective. It becomes suspenseful. It's a slow burn. The end is shocking, but that's not all it is. I mean, it's not just an ending. It is excellent. Tale of Two Sisters, number 9.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
Number
8.
Oh, number 8. I forgot. I messed up. So number 8 for me is Trick or Treat. Words can't describe how much I love this movie because I love the storytelling.
This is not the one with Ozzy Osbourne. This is the one from the early 2000s that came out.
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one where 3 or 4 different storylines sort of converge.
Yeah, we're not naming all the directors and stuff of this because we didn't research to see who they all were.
Because we suck.
No, because this is going to be a long video as it is. When we do reviews of the movies, we'll talk about the directors and the producers and all that.
Yeah, so. I imagine we'll review most of these.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally I consider that movie an absolute storytelling genius. Because
I like it too.
And visually, it's amazing because while each different individual story is playing, you can see the other storylines playing out in the background. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, Trick or Treat
it's fantastic.
It's very good.
I love it.
And I've seen it probably 7 or 8 times. And again, it's the reason I didn't put it on here. I've seen it too much, and it's not something I just want to sit down and watch again. Any of these that I've got on here, I'll sit down and watch again. That was one of the criteria.
Yeah, so, that's what my list is. It's movies that I'll watch over and over again.
Yeah. So my number 8, we're on 8, right?
We're on 8.
Is Psycho. Man, I love Psycho. The 1960 version, the Alfred Hitchcock version with Anthony Perkins. That's a movie I can sit and watch at any time. When I was a kid, I didn't care for it. It was just too slow. It was a slow burn. Man, what a beautifully shot movie. The shower scene is one of the most famous scenes in a movie in history. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is the most famous scene. It's got to be top 3 or 4. Most famous scene in movie history. And it is wonderful. And
one of the most famous scores.
Yeah, and it is a disturbing movie even for 1960. Another movie that I don't remember which one came out first. I believe Peeping Tom came out before Psycho. It was by... It wasn't Powell and Pressburger. I think it was just Powell, Michael Powell, that directed this movie, and he lost his career because of it. It was good. It was disturbing. It was in full color, and it was about a serial killer, and again disturbing. And in 1960, or around that time, you have Psycho, you have Peeping Tom. I mean, what a year, But if you haven't seen Peeping Tom, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's very British, which I like a lot. I mean, I love the way that England looked back in the 60s, 50s and 60s. I think it's a gorgeously shot movie. It rivals Psycho, but I only wanted to put one of them on the list, so I chose Psycho.
Okay. So number 7 for me is The Uninvited. He had it on his honorable mentions. Like a heathen.
The 1944 version, not the early 2000s or late 90s version.
Yeah, the 1944 version is an early haunted house movie. It's actually a horror. It's meant to build dread as opposed to comedy, as most of them were at that point. And I love it so much. It's really, really good. It's a very good movie.
It is, and it's a little creepy at times. It's not a scary horror movie. But it's very well done.
It's very atmospheric.
It is. The Uninvited was directed by... I wrote that one down because I couldn't remember it. Lewis Allen. Who I don't know a lot about, but I have seen quite a few Ray Milland movies, and it's great. We just love it.
Yeah.
My number 7 is an American Werewolf in London, 1981, I do believe, with David Naughton. Who was excellent in this movie. And it has the best, still, what is the best werewolf transformation scene in the history of cinema.
Sure it does.
Yeah, it's excellent. We love it. We both love it. I love the way that they did the werewolf. They made the werewolf look canine.
Mm-hmm.
Very much canine. The movie has a sad ending, but still, I mean, excellent. And it was never disappointing in any part of the movie for me. It started as a slow burn, and I love that. I love a good slow burn, especially late 70s or in the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They just knew how to do slow burn. But very cool movie.
So the next one, number 6, is The Exorcist 3. It's called Legion. And
well, the book was called Legion.
Well, isn't it The Exorcist 3 : Legion?
Maybe somewhere.
I thought it was. Okay. It's based on the book Legion. And it's very, very, very loosely related to the Exorcist movies. They were trying to capitalize on the Exorcist franchise, and this book or the movie they put the bare minimum in there to connect it to the Exorcist, and the stuff that's actually connected to the Exorcist is the bad part.
Yeah.
Up to that, it is a genius horror movie. It scares the crap out of me. There's a jump scare in it that's actually one of the very few truly successful jump scares in movies.
It's not cheap at all.
It's not cheap at all, and it scares me every time I see it. I expect it every time. Anyone who's watched it, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yep.
But the main character is George C. Scott, and he's incredible in it. I love that movie. I want to watch it now.
It's got so many laugh out loud moments too, which are surprising.
The first 15 minutes of that movie are hilarious.
Maybe even the first 30 minutes. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
They are.
Just great.
All right, my number 6 is Fright Night. The 1985 vampire film with Chris Sarandon.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the vampire again. Genius.
Yeah.
There were some genius horror movies in the 80s.
Yeah. They made a remake of Fright Night, which wasn't bad. Wasn't awful.
I didn't like it.
It suffered from lack of Chris Sarandon.
Well, it suffered for inclusion of David Tennant.
I thought he was great.
I hate David Tennant.
I don't like him. Hate David Tennant.
I do. I don't like him in anything he's in.
I like David Tennant.
But the 1985 version, the new version is not very good. When you compare them.
Comparatively, yes, I'll agree.
But Fright Night is a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always going to be popular.
Oh yeah.
I need to get a copy of that on Blu-ray because I want to watch it again.
Yeah, we haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't, and I don't want to rent it on Amazon or something. I want to watch the physical copy of a movie like that.
Gotcha.
I want to own it.
Okay.
So now your turn.
For number 5 for me is The Witch. The Witch.
We'll talk about that some more too.
Yeah. It's creepy. Creepy and extremely creepy.
It's divisive. People who don't like a slower burn movie are going to hate it. Mm-hmm. If you'll notice, we have a lot of slow burn movies on our list, especially me, because I love it.
I do like a good slow burn.
Yeah.
Especially when it's heading towards an inferno at the end. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And The Witch has so much talking power. There's so much to discuss.
Oh yeah, it's great.
We'll have to do a review of that one.
It's a wonderful movie. I love The Witch. My number 5 is Night of the Living Dead. The 1967 or 68 version. I do like the one from the early 90s, but it is not the same. It's not Night of the Living Dead. It's something completely different.
It's one of those remakes that just did not call for a remake.
No, I completely agree. I think Tom Savini helmed the thing, and I thought it was okay. It's fine. It's like, well, I want to compare it to Let the Right One In and Let Me In. But no, because Let Me In was actually successful. It wasn't necessary, but it was successful. More successful than Night of the Living Dead, 1990 version.
Well, I think Let the Right One In, Let Me In is a foreign film and an American film though, correct?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
the remake's an American film, but the Night of the Living Dead were both American films.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a difference there. I have a point. I'm just not sure how to make it.
There was a reason to make Let Me In.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe just an American director saying, "I think I can do that."
I think I just bumped the camera.
Yeah, messed her up.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, I just prefer the 1967 version. It's got a lot to say, even though George Romero says he wasn't saying anything. I think he's full of shit. I think he was saying a lot of things. and I love it. George Romero is top 10 director for me. I love The Crazies. I love Dawn of the Dead. Not as big a fan of The Day of the Dead. I know a lot of people love it. I find it just to be cheesy and it's not one of my favorite Romeros.
So from here on out, things get kind of funky, kind of weird on my top 4 list. You're warned. My number 4 is Prince of Darkness by
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. Thank you. I love this movie so much. It's got Alice Cooper in it as a hobo.
In a cool part.
He's fantastic. Creepy. He's a weird zombie-like demon something. And I love the movie. It's weird. It's not everybody's favorite, but for some reason, it's one of my very favorite John Carpenter movies. Number 2. It's my second favorite John Carpenter movie.
I like it.
I love it.
I like it. It's not top 4 John Carpenter movies for me. It might be number 5, something like that for me. Number 6, something like that. I still enjoy it because I mean John Carpenter is a top 3 director for me. We'll do that one of these days. We'll do top 10 horror directors.
Oh yeah, fun.
We might do that in a couple of weeks and see how that works out because I do love a good horror movie and talking directors. So, where are we? 4 is Halloween. John Carpenter's Halloween. This is my second favorite John Carpenter film. It made the slasher genre successful. It's not the first slasher movie, not even the first good slasher movie, but it's the one that brought slasher to the forefront, brought slashers to the forefront of horror cinema, and in my opinion, it's probably the best of all the slasher movies. Halloween. John Carpenter was a genius at this point in his career.
He really was.
And I mean, I'm sure he still is. You know, he makes great music. He tours, with his music and all this stuff. But he hasn't made a great film in a really long time. But Halloween, I don't have to say much about it. Jamie Lee Curtis, number 4, great movie.
My number 3 is my top John Carpenter movie, and that's The Fog.
I like The Fog.
I love
too.
that movie. I love everything about it. I like the characters. I like the storyline. The setting, the visuals, the soundtrack. I love everything about that movie. It's another one of those that had a much later remake that just did not need to be made, and it was okay. Just not really on my radar. It was, but the original Fog, it's just I don't get any better from John Carpenter. I think.
I think
I
it does.
love John Carpenter.
Like my number 3.
Go for it.
It's The Thing from 1982. We also like the 2011 version. We thought it was just fine. I mean, nothing wrong with it. We did enjoy it. If it had been a standalone movie, we would have enjoyed it even more probably. But when you compare it to the original, it's not going to stand up. But I still enjoy it. I think it's still good. I wish they'd have stuck to practical effects like they did with the original. I think it would have made it a better film. But I did really enjoy it. I love Who Goes There, which is the original story that The Thing was made from. The Thing from Outer Space, I think, is the name of the film that was the original adaptation of the movie adaptation of The Thing. Who Goes There,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't care that much for it. Studios got involved. I thought it got ridiculous. The Thing, I think, is a much superior movie. Although I know the original has a lot of fans, I'm just not one of them.
All right.
But The Thing, number 3.
All right. So number 2 for me is The Changeling, with George C. Scott.
We talked about that on my honorable mentions.
I love that movie.
It's good.
I watch it regularly. Like probably once a month I watch that movie. 'Cause I love it so much. I'm a very big George C. Scott fan. Even though I hear he was kind of difficult.
Yeah, I
to
hear that
work
too.
with.
Yeah.
But there's not much about that movie that I dislike. I love it so much. It's one of my favorites. It's my second favorite horror
I like it
movie.
too. The only thing I don't like about it is I've seen it so many times, and it's just not something I want to put in again anytime soon.
That's why I watch it by myself, at least once a month.
It is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is The Witch.
Mm-hmm.
2016 or so. In my opinion, one of the best horror films ever made, one of the most underrated horror films ever made, one of the most misunderstood horror films ever made. Man, what what a cast! You know, it is not a huge name cast, but it is but it is so well acted, so well directed. It's a slow burn, just like I enjoy. And it's my number 2 movie. I don't know if it's a second. It's probably not the second best horror film ever made, but good God, I love it.
It's acted well by every character in that movie.
It is, yeah.
Which you don't see a whole lot. Even the kids and the little kids.
Yeah.
It's acted well.
Well, it's acted well, but it's directed beautifully, which shows
gorgeous
shows
movie.
with the acting.
Gorgeous. It
is.
pretty. It's as pretty as Midsummer.
Yeah, it is. Even though it's a different kind of pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of like polar
it's
opposites.
It's even darker pretty, yeah.
Yeah, because Midsummer is truly pretty. It looks like
colorful,
a spring garden.
Bright.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then The Witch is dark, it's misty, it's stormy, but it's still gorgeous.
But I think The Witch is a far superior movie. I really do.
I have to agree.
The Witch that's a movie that I can still watch over and over. I don't do that with a lot of movies because I tire of things that I watch over and over again. And The Witch would be no exception. If I keep doing it, if I watch it more than once a year, it's going to get old. But I do love that movie, and we have a friend who loves it as well. So yeah.
So number one for me messed me up for life. I just want you to know this. And I feel like we've become friends. I saw this movie when I was 5 years old. I was entirely too young. I just sort of happened upon it, and it scared the crap out of me. It instilled a fear of clowns into me for the rest of my life, and it's the movie Poltergeist.
Tobe Hooper directed that.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper directed it with a little help from Steven Spielberg. And I could watch it.
And in case you don't know, Tobe Hooper directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as well. So
yeah, I can watch that movie every day. I can watch it now without an issue. I love it. It's so much fun to watch. But when I was 5 years old, it scared the bejesus out of me. And it's creepy trees, and there were actually real skeletons in the swimming pool and dead bodies, and I love that movie so very much.
I like Poltergeist as well. It should be on my honorable mentions, but I can only put 10 on there. So
it's one of those rare horror movies that I love the first one, I love the second one, the third one never happened.
Yeah, the third one was so bad.
And the remake was atrocious.
Yeah, it was really, really awful.
They lost the beauty of the first movie, which we need to talk about one day. We really do.
Yeah, we'll do that
because there's an important aspect that they completely missed with the remake. That
okay. We'll do that soon.
I wasn't talking to you. Okay.
Yeah, her Apple product is talking to her. Number one for me is Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien. I mean, just the best horror movie ever made, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a lot of horror movies, and Alien still is still one I can just sit and watch. It's another slow burn, but once it gets going, my God, it doesn't. It's relentless. Doesn't stop. The climax of that movie is will give you a heart attack if you've never seen it. I mean, it's so good. And like I said, in my opinion, it is the greatest horror movie ever made.
It's one of those. I'm really glad they haven't tried to make a remake of it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the sequel I thought was bad, but I know. Like I said, I know it has a lot of fans.
It don't bother me. It's not as good as the first one, but I enjoy watching it.
And I don't like Prometheus either, in case anybody out there is wondering. Becky loves it.
I love Prometheus.
She doesn't really say it that way.
No, I don't.
But
I loved now I'm messed up Prometheus, but again.
Yeah, I don't like Prometheus. Seen it twice. Didn't care for it either time. But Alien is my favorite horror movie. I don't think it's probably never going to be outdone for me. Maybe it can be. I don't know. Maybe it will be. But yeah, I also one of the things I didn't talk about very much was Italian horror films. Did you forget something?
Yeah, a movie that should be on my top 10.
What?
Event Horizon.
Oh yeah, Event Horizon is cool. Yeah, Event Horizon.
I love that movie.
Cosmic science fiction type of horror film. Yeah, we enjoyed that a lot. But Alien is definitely my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing I haven't talked about much that I really love and I would like to get into some discussions about are Giallo, the Italian
noir.
Italian noir stuff. Love that stuff. And I also like Italian horror films, Spanish horror films. They don't have much of a, they're not represented much on my list here, but I do like them a lot.
Can't believe Zombie's not on your top 10.
It almost made it. It really almost made it.
It was a close call.
Yeah, it was, but yeah, I had a great time with this list, and it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, and we're glad we did our first video. We'll be back next week, or maybe later this week. I don't know, with a review of a horror film. I would like to pick out the same day to release videos to this channel.
Okay.
Maybe do it on Wednesdays or something like that.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
And so we want to be consistent. We want to put out good content, and we are going to have special guests come. A lot of them are going to be horror authors. I'd like to even get some horror directors in here, which we know one. We talked to him on Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him in here, but
yeah.
I'd like to talk some Western stuff with him, some horror stuff with him. Get him in here and talk about some cool stuff. So
it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy that.
Yep, but that's it. We will see you soon, and hopefully in just a few days.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.